Okay, there we are. There we are.
Got a chicken wing.
This episode of Noonish Sports and Tech is brought to you by High Energy Models and Events. Tech for Troops, T4T,
baby.
You can see your slot machine.
Performance Labs.
Stand there.
Yeah, got my slot
game
machine
begins. Scan the QR code below to bet on your favorite sports games.
Got my
24/7,
slot machine
365. The original shot sock. Now we got my shot socks.
Mic on. Yep.
Mike.
Take 2. Yes. We made it, y'all. You know, we had some technical difficulties. First with Twitch, second with Black Magic. I'm calling y'all out because it was not our fault. Okay? Jonas and I were prepared for this show. We were sitting here ready to rock, and suddenly
On time.
And things just went berserk. First with Twitch. Y'all need to figure it out, Twitch. Twitch. Figure it out. Welcome to Noonish, Season 6, Episode 3.
I should get on the Twitter and tweet that we are in fact live.
Yes, we are in fact live. Get on the tweet and tell that Twitch was. Yeah. Anyway, I'm your host, J.A., a.k.a. Jonathan Anderson. Man, we're going to have some fun. Can't help ourselves because of the way this thing has started for the second time, take 2. And I'm here today. We're short-staffed, you know, COVID.
We are short-staffed.
Just like all the other companies that are short-staffed due to COVID, we're short-staffed due to COVID. But MC does not have COVID. I just wanted to blame it on COVID. But I'm here today with my homie, my main man, El Grande Toro in the building, man. So, yeah, we're going to have a good show, a lot of fun, laid back, help you guys get over the hump. And let me go ahead and fill up this thing so I don't get distracted later on in the show. And I want something to drink. I need some of this drink, man. Literally, at 11:58, Twitch decides that some people can't stream. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was our fault. Maybe they didn't like our
It's Twitch's fault.
Maybe they didn't like our test. I don't know. I don't think they liked our test. Our test was too good today.
They're taking it out on everybody then.
That's the effect that we have.
It's power.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. So Twitch, you cannot defeat us.
That's
and you
what
want to know
Uncle
why?
Ben
Because
said.
YouTube is the man or woman or person, whatever you want to call it. But
They have successfully streaming our video. They are successfully streaming our video.
yes,
So.
along with Fireside. So if y'all have not downloaded the Fireside app, go ahead and download the Fireside app. Very cool, man. Something Mark Cuban has come up with to help people just stream everywhere
We've
and
been
anywhere.
using it all this time, and I did not realize that was a Cuban project.
Yeah,
I did not realize that.
yeah. Not necessarily. It's a Mark Cuban project, but not a Cuban
Right.
project.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah, just don't want to get people mixed up.
Smells
you know?
of cigars.
Yeah, man. Speaking of cigars, I'm glad I didn't hit a cigar before the show started today because I was a little cuckoo last week. But anywho, shout out MC, man. Hope things go well today with what you have going on in your endeavors. Wish I was there to give you a little more muscle, but at the same time, I'm sure you got it, bro. But
You'll be pleased to know that Josh had us helping him move his slot machine.
yes, we did move a slot machine, so we were moving today too. And I wish I tried to shake it a little bit, see if it was a few more coins in there. He didn't realize, but nothing came out.
Nothing came out.
Yeah, we're good to go. So, man, let's go ahead and get started with the sports this week. Did you catch some of that
Knock it
NFL
out.
action this week, Jay?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Who'd you watch, man? I'm just curious.
I just, was trying to see, if the Cowboys were going to get beat.
Oh yeah, that didn't happen. You don't know why? Because Cooper Rush.
Because Dak is injured.
Yeah. Yes, because Dak is not in the saddle.
I'm not saying that's why they're winning.
What I am saying is the Cowboys are 2-1 and Dak is 0-1. You know what I'm saying? Dak has no wins on the season. So, not saying it's your fault, Dak, that y'all lost, even though it was, but not saying that it was, if that makes sense. But no, man. So Dallas Cowboys went out and handled the New York Giants this week. It was a really good game.
They did, in fact, do that. Yes.
I wondered if Dak, probably gave CeeDee Lamb, a couple 100,000 to drop some balls because he dropped some big time passes, but then he came back and made some big time catches.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. He's very inconsistent.
Yeah, and he has been. But he's in a new spot this year. He doesn't have Amari Cooper as the number one receiver, and that number one receiver role, everybody's got their eyes on you.
Right.
Defenses are scheming to you, making sure they shut you down. But man, Cooper Rush is doing a great job of getting the ball down the field to the receivers on time. You hear that? On time. Dak. So, Dak, if you have been paying attention, he's been getting the ball out on time. Doesn't have to run very much. Yeah. He's not a Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah, true.
He's just getting the ball out on time and helping his team out by doing so, right? O-line doesn't have to block nearly as long or hold blocks. They don't have to worry about him running out of the pocket because he can't get through his progressions on time and quickly enough. And ultimately, like Mark says, I think he just does a great job of the pre-snap reads, understanding what the defense is looking to do prior to the play, getting his cadence, during his cadence, seeing what guys are doing while he has men in motion, just doing a good job pre-snap, and he's been very successful post-snap because of it, right? So, I'm down for Cooper Rush taking that job, man. And, Jerry Jones said he's open to quarterback controversy, and I'm down for it as well.
He's open to a controversy?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine him being open to a controversy?
Jerry, that's not Jerry Jones.
That would raise some publicity. Yeah.
That's nothing like Jerry Jones, man. That dude is so controversy-free. He doesn't like any type of what do we call it?
He doesn't like to stir the pot.
Yeah, he don't like to stir the pot at all, does he?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jerry. The thing is, you've heard me say before, stop doing what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys have gone back and forth with Dak for several years now.
Yep.
And when he's not there, things go a little better.
Yeah.
And all kidding aside, I don't have anything against Dak. I don't dislike him or anything like that. Just saying, the statistics are, things seem to go better when he's not there.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on
or
that.
At least
completely.
not necessarily that he's not there, but not on the field.
Yeah, he's there,
ball.
and so
maybe it's time to let Cooper take a little bit more of a lead.
Take the reins, man.
Yeah,
the rushing,
just commit.
Not only the pass has improved, but the rushing has improved. Right. Zeke is running the ball better. Pollard's running the ball better, and I'm just wondering, does this all have to do with pre-snap reads and choosing the right running play so that the guys have success and aren't running into a blitz
Or getting the ball off on time.
Yeah, bro. So
could be that.
It's a lot going on right now with the whole Cooper Rush, but it's not just Cooper Rush alone. Even though he's a major piece and part on the offensive side of the ball, that Dallas Cowboy defense is looking exceptional, man. Those dudes are out there flying around, making plays. Diggs finally got his first pick of the season. We're accustomed to seeing that. Michael Parsons, right? So what I noticed the Giants were doing, every time Michael Parsons was running, that dude was running for his life out of the pocket.
Yeah.
He would scramble out of the pocket, run away from Michael Parsons, whichever direction that was. And they always seemed to have some receiver flowing that way that he was running, or he'd throw it out of bounds. So they had success early, but Cowboys made adjustments. Dan Quinn is an excellent defensive coordinator, and they made adjustments and got that dub, man.
Yeah.
Got that dub. So great win by the Cowboys. Really enjoyed watching them. Had a graphic. I'm slipping. Still trying to get back in the groove.
Still trying to get back in there.
Here's that graphic of the Cowboys, man. Cooper Rush, little CeeDee Lamb making a nice little catch. But
And some people have said that the Cowboys wins without Dak have not been the greatest teams that they could possibly play. Well, and the Giants did not perform on the level of certain other teams that we will talk about later.
But Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl last year.
Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl last year.
So
no doubt about it. Right.
I mean, yeah, we can say that about the Giants.
Carried their weight in the Super Bowl. It wasn't a fluke.
And the Giants were also 2-0 coming into this game.
They didn't just trip over the goal line and we're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They had to get past some tough opponents to get there, right? And like I said, the Giants were 2-0
Yeah.
prior to this game, so it's not like they were just
true.
You know, they've been crappy for years, but they haven't been crappy this year. You know, not until they face that Dallas Cowboy defensive line that is going nuts right now. So there was another big game. You know, we got to talk about my boy MC squad. Those B-More Ravens, man. And really, you know, Lamar Jackson.
Speaking of teams that you could be playing,
Yeah.
like this was the Patriots.
Yeah, they're playing the
Like,
Patriots.
this was like ostensibly not a one and done team.
Yeah, not a bad team at all.
All right.
Not a bad franchise at all. They've been known to. I mean, they've got what 6 Super Bowl wins.
Time
Most-
was
Most Super Bowl wins of any franchise in the NFL, right?
back when they had a certain quarterback. That
Yeah,
knocking them down. One
I
after the
think
other.
that had something to do with it, right?
Yeah,
So that guy
that's
that
kinda-
has 7 wins,
kinda
7 Super
suspicious.
Bowl rings. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy because really one guy went out there and beat the Patriots, man. One guy that doesn't have a contract, right? Oh, I'm sorry, he's on the last year of his contract.
last year of his contract. That's right.
Right? He doesn't have an agent. Okay, he's out there negotiating. He's betting on himself, and the man went out there and beat the Patriots by himself. 5 touchdowns, bruh.
If he can
5.
negotiate his contract like he can run for touchdowns
Yeah,
or produce touchdowns,
he'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
He's gonna make some good money, man. But the man scored 5 touchdowns on Sunday. 5, count them up, right? 4 through the air and 1 on the ground, bro. Like that is pretty insane to do against the.
it's not like that's not
Patriots.
record territory, but like that's pretty freaking good.
No, it's not a record, but man, that's
That's pretty bad.
you don't just do that every week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just not out there just scoring 5
Right.
touchdowns.
Well,
Like
that's not just everybody who knocks down 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Against a arguably one of the better teams in the league.
I mean, we're talking about listen, Dak, right? Like, I keep bringing up Dak. I know he's hurt.
Why you gotta?
I don't know if he has 1 touchdown this year. Is all I'm saying, right? I know he got hurt in the first game, but you know, I don't know if Cooper Rush has 5 touchdowns right now. Right. So
It's true.
Not just Dak, but you know,
Not in a game.
people say I like to pick
In a
on
single
Dak, and I
game.
do because it's an easy target because he's not good, and y'all just not seeing it. And I've been trying to tell y'all this for years now, but it's all good, man. It is all good. So, yeah, man.
It'll all
But
work out.
like I said, the Cowboys did a really good job, got that dub. But I mean, Lamar Jackson is what we're talking about right now, and that man just went berserk, bro.
Lamar Jackson and the whole crew,
Yeah,
like, really put on a show.
Yeah, he's making his money. He's definitely making his money. Kind of like the Aaron Judge situation that we're going to talk about later. Betting on themselves, you know, not taking the little money, the smaller contracts, going out there and showing your worth, and he's having an MVP type season again because that's what he does, right? So, you know, rest of the league, you know, we're not going to go through many more games because who cares right now about all the games in the league, right? We're down here in Dallas, and Mark plays for Baltimore, so we focus on those squads, but we will tell you who's hot and who's not, and we will start with who's not hot. First of all, we'll start with the Seattle Seahawks. Wow, like how bad does it have to get for you to lose to Atlanta, man? Like you just lost to the Atlanta Falcons. They have a third string quarterback, you know, Marcus Mariota. This dude, we forgot he was in the NFL. He's been sitting on the bench for about 3 years now, which is not a bad thing. But for like 4 different teams, which is a bad thing. So it's not like he's learning the same, you know, he might be learning defenses, but not in the same scheme, offensive scheme that is, right? He's got new coaches
True,
every year
yeah.
just about. But you let Marcus Mariota beat you.
Maybe there's some, you know, generalist understanding there that he's getting, but
I can't name too many other players on that team right now. Like, period. You know, this is not
couldn't name any of them.
It's not the Dirty Birds of old. This ain't the
It's
Deion Sanders
definitely
Atlanta
not, right,
Falcons. This ain't the Jamal Anderson Atlanta Falcons. I have no idea who's on this team right now other than Marcus Mariota. And, I mean, what is that saying? So, Seattle, they're doing real bad right now. The team that the Cowboys play this weekend coming up, the Washington Commanders. We all knew they were going to lose anyway, but with that name. Right?
Right.
As soon as they became the Commanders, everybody
Well,
checked out.
There you go.
Yep. They went out and got Carson Wentz, which is the perfect quarterback for the Commanders, right? Because you know nobody expects much from him anyway, right? And nobody expects much from this team.
Yeah, well, you kind of rough on Carson.
Well, the guy's bad. I mean, he was good his rookie year, but he is not good anymore. And I don't know what happened. But North Dakota State, man, he's not making them look good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the the team now known as the Commanders had some good years, but they've not been recently.
No, they have too much mess going on in the front office. But whatever.
Yeah. And that's that you wouldn't think that would affect at the professional level because there's so much distance there, but it does.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's anything where you don't really know you don't even really know who you are. Like,
yeah.
Like what team do you play for? Well, the Washington one. Like,
which one? I'd rather y'all still be the Washington football team than the Commanders, right? No name versus the Commanders. No name wins. Like, how did y'all? Like, that just tells you how bad the front office is. Picking names like that, man, that's brutal.
Right.
But they're not doing very good.
Like the Washington Badasses.
We'll take it. You know what I mean? We'll take it.
That's a lot to live up to, but
yeah, it is. But
you could do it,
and that would be a cutting edge team name. Like, they're really that's really pushing and changing the shape of all team dynamics, like team name dynamics, like putting
the Washington not very creative naming.
Well, badasses. It could have had a donkey on the side of the helmet, with a gun in his hand or something. You know what I'm saying? Like a donkey with a knife.
Machine Gun Kelly on the helmet.
But, they're not doing very good. They're not hot at all, and they're getting colder and colder. I think they just won the top draft pick. I think they want to get a quarterback this year. That's what it sounds like. Who is hot are the Miami Dolphins. Those guys went out and beat the Buffalo Bills this weekend. Nobody expected that. And they're just playing really good football. They got a lot of talent, man.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting how that develops over the season, the Bills and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Because, the Dolphins were not really playoff material last year.
But they're freaking undefeated right now.
Right now, they're on their way.
The weirdest excuse, they was like, the Buffalo Bills got too hot in Miami. I was like, what? It was too hot. Like, don't you want to be warm?
It is like 100 and something degrees down there right now.
Like, but don't you want to be warm? You want your muscles warm?
I think they got a little bit of wind too.
I was like, that is the craziest excuse I've ever heard in my life. Is a team was too hot. Like, that's just nuts.
Like it is mid-September and it's still like 100 degrees, 100% humidity in Miami. So, but that's pretty normal for Miami.
Yeah.
So like you should be prepared for that.
Yeah, and it's something crazy going on in Florida because the Jacksonville / London Jaguars are whooping ass right now, bro. Like, the London Jaguars just went out there and beat San Diego. I'm sorry, the Los Angeles Chargers in L.A. Like, beat the mess out of them, bro. Like, wasn't a close game. I think they beat them like 20-plus points, man.
Well, it was cooler and they had better humidity. And
but,
there's nice out there.
We're talking about the Londonville Jaguars, bro. Like, these guys haven't won since they started a team, really. They had a few good years there when Jack Del Rio, former Cowboy linebacker, was their head coach.
Right.
But it's been a while since they were even relevant in the United States. Like, they love them in London, but the United States.
We've got to find out why that is.
Why they love them in London?
Right.
Well, I mean, because they play so many games out there, man. Like, anytime they got NFL Europe games, it's always the Jacksonville team going to bite the bullet on that long trip, right? So,
do they win over there? Maybe that's what it is.
Well, they've picked up a fan base because they've played so many times over there. So I think that's what that has to do with. But Trevor Lawrence, man, like, he's really starting to show why he was that number one pick, and doing everything that everybody thought he would do, and being who everyone thought he would be as that number one pick. So shout out to Jacksonville. Y'all keep y'all's eyes on those guys. They're pretty good. They're not bad, man. They're not bad at all. They're not bad at all.
How far do you think they go this year? You think they can make playoffs?
Jacksonville, yeah.
You think they can make the Super Bowl?
I mean, they've got some. So they've been bad for so long. They've had really high draft picks for a long time. So they have a lot of talent.
Quietly building up a line, building up a bench.
Yep. They've been built. They got some good athletes all around the field. They've made some good quiet free agent signings.
Right.
right? Like Zay Jones and what's my guy? I can't think.
Are they playing
Jones.
Moneyball? Are they doing Moneyball?
I think they just sucked for so long, man. Like, it's hard to sign free agents when you suck for so long, you know.
Yeah,
And then they had Urban Meyer out there kicking the kicker last year. The head coach like going berserk, but Jacksonville, man, look out for the Jacksonville London Jaguars, man. They got a squad. I think that'd be something interesting to watch this year.
Yeah, if they go up.
I think they have a great chance to make the playoffs because they have a team built for it, right?
Yeah.
But moving on, we'll head to the NCAA. Well, another shocking game.
Let me throw one more not so hot. And I did give them some props earlier, so I don't feel too bad about knocking them now.
Yeah.
The Patriots.
Yeah.
Not what we wanted to see.
No. And then the quarterback just went down too. So they're
and the quarterback went the non-Brady quarterback.
Yeah.
Went down.
Yeah.
I think I would have expected to see a drop in performance after Brady left, which we did.
Yep.
But I would have expected to see Belichick pull it back and come back with a better, maybe not Super Bowl ready.
I think Brady proved his point.
I think he did, yeah.
That, he was running the show out there. He was making somebody's on that offense. And he was winning the Super Bowls. Yeah. Now, Belichick is a great coach, and we cannot deny that. Right. But Brady's the man.
Well,
and he's got one more
There definitely
Super Bowl
was some
win.
magic there in that team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But yeah, man.
And that magic is gone right now.
Yes, gone to Tampa. And playing for the Bucks right now. And probably will retire at the end of this season, more than likely. But yeah, man, so OU, man, went at home. They had a home game against Kansas State this weekend. And I think Lamar Jackson suited up for Kansas State and put on this Martinez jersey. Because this guy went nuts, man.
Does he have like a Martinez jersey in the back of the closet?
Hey, I think he just straight up went to where's Kansas State located?
Kansas.
I can't think of where it's at, but it's in Kansas. And
somewhere in Kansas.
Lamar Jackson showed up Friday night and said, "Martinez, I got a makeup artist. Let's see if we can get away with this." All right, and he put on that man's uniform because look, man, this Martinez kid went out there and went ballistic. So
we need the officials to check on that. So
investigate this.
Yes,
they need to
make sure that this was in fact the correct quarterback.
Because this guy was nothing like this in the previous two games, right? But I don't know what it is. Kansas State. Mark said that Kansas State is like OU's kryptonite, and Kansas State's been the kryptonite for Texas, for everybody in the Big 12 for a while, man. But this game right here, this kid threw for 234 yards and a touchdown. Threw for one touchdown, ran for 148 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. That's 5 touchdowns.
So that's what, 470. So that's not the 500 yards that we saw from last week.
No, this man.
That's a lot of
yards, bro.
Right.
Like this man, 82 yards of offense and 5 touchdowns produced by this man right here. All right, shout out Martinez. He looked like a Heisman Trophy candidate, but he absolutely is not. But last week he was, and beat a very good OU football team. And the thing is, OU didn't play bad, right? Dylan Gabriel went out and threw 330 yards, 4 touchdowns himself. Ed Gray, I think that's his name, ran for 114 yards. So he played. So they did what they do on offense.
So they're 400. What is 440 something yards.
Yeah. So and there's another guy. Kansas State had 100 and something yards rushing. Right. So they put up some yards now. But
so there was a lot of offense on this game.
Yeah. Period.
And
very entertaining game.
Yeah.
And that is something that outcoached, right? Outplayed. Those are two things that we got to think about, right? And that's something that we did not expect with this new regime coming in to ever be outcoached.
Well, right. We didn't really think that was going to happen, but there's always some lead up. Like there's always some, or at least there's always the chance when there's a new regime, things aren't going to quite work. There's still going to be kinks in the system.
Yeah.
and it's never real. Like however good you think you are, it's never real until you hit K-State.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And man, it's such a bad loss, but I think it could also be a good loss for Oklahoma.
Could be,
It's
it could
so
be the
early in the
wake-up
season.
call. Yeah.
And they got to get back to work. They were riding high and all this other stuff, like people talking good.
Like, all right, guys, it's time to get serious.
Even the coaching staff probably was feeling good about themselves and what
Sure.
they've accomplished so far this year, right? But wake up call, man, for everybody in the organization. So
all right, guys, it's time to get serious. Earn the money.
Yep. We'll see what happens.
Earn the NIL.
Yeah, earn that NIL. Earn that check, y'all. Earn that NIL check. But no, man, I think it's that's a tough one. The home loss makes it worse because it was at home.
Those always hurt.
Yeah, because it was at home. That makes it a worse looking loss anyway. But I think they'll bounce back, man, and still end up winning the Big 12. But we shall see. We'll see how K-State ends up doing. If they only have one loss, then they're going to win that head-to-head, tie or matchup, tie, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see how this thing, ends up, lining out, right? So, anywho, that sucks for OU, man. K-State, well done. That's where Jeff went to school, man. So
Is that right?
yeah, got some K-State ties. My boy Josh Dent went to school there, so got some K-State ties. But the rest of the NCAA, the teams that we care about anyway, like we say, Notre Dame got that dub. How you doing? We're now 2-2 after a horrible start.
Is there anybody around here that likes Notre Dame?
Oh, you know what it is, man. I haven't worn my jersey. I thought about wearing it today, but I just didn't feel like it. I just didn't feel like it, But I will be having my jersey on here in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
No doubt. I just need to see a little bit more. I'm not a fair weather fan, but I'm not just going to come out here bragging on them when they lose to Marshall. All right, so, it is what it is. We looked a lot better the past 2 weeks. We looked much better this week, putting up points. Defense could, still do a little better, but we beat North Carolina 45-32.
Yeah. Carolina's not a pushover.
No, they're not, but they're not great either. So, we have some tougher opponents ahead, so hopefully we can get a few more wins. Hopefully we get enough wins to get to a bowl game. That's all. I just want to go to a bowl game. My expectations are very low for Notre Dame this year. Sorry to say it, but it is what it is.
Well, that means every win is it's an improvement.
Yeah, every win I'm freaking ecstatic, bro. Like I'm excited about it, right? That's a good thing about having low expectations, right? And then not pictured here, TCU went out and beat SMU in the DFW Bowl. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, they beat SMU 42-34. And then back to Jackson State, to Mississippi, to the SIP,
Jackson
baby.
State.
Yeah, man. Shador Sanders. And I'm going to keep talking about this kid. Jackson State went out, beat Mississippi Valley 49-7. I know, whatever, competition, whatever. It's collegiate football players on the field. So it's good athletes everywhere regardless, right?
Yeah.
But this kid, we talked about him having almost 1,000 yards in 2 games last year. Or last week. He went out this weekend, threw for another 425 yards and 4 touchdowns, right? So that gives him 1,381 yards on the season, 14 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Nice.
That is a heck of a season. He's putting up some enormous numbers as a true sophomore. So he will be back for another year of football, right, in college.
Yeah, Valley State's not, kind of like we were talking about North Carolina. It's like they're not great, but they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
For HBCU.
For sure. That's
that
Jerry
conference.
Rice's school,
Yeah,
man.
right.
I think
They're not
Terrell
bad.
Owens with there, too. So they've got some big names, some of the greatest receivers to ever come out of that school.
Right. Yeah,
So-
but it's like this year, recent season.
Yeah, this year ain't
But
that. I don't see
but
Jerry
yeah,
and T.O. out there.
it's still, basically 50 points.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. But it was close at halftime.
Yeah.
And then Jackson State comes on and puts the afterburners on, bro. And it's
Which is that like aside from the fact that they're winning, which is great, but that makes for a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Like when somebody just
burns off on you
like
in the second half.
if it's clear from the first play that somebody's getting smashed,
Yeah.
like yeah, all right, but
Yeah.
but like when there's some competition,
Yeah.
and it's close until all of a sudden
Boom.
it takes off.
Yep.
That makes for a good game.
It's happened every game for those guys this year. And then
Not so much for Valley State, but
definitely not for
they probably didn't enjoy it very much.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't enjoy getting drugged like that in the second half. That's bad.
But the rest of us enjoyed it.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. And then lastly, man, my boys out of Florida State. Yes. Hello. Michael Norvell, keep doing what you're doing. Great job recruiting this Trey Benson kid. So he opens up the game against Boston College with a kickoff return.
Right.
It was a nice kickoff return, too. It's not one of those untouched. Like, he had to break some tackles and then burn off on some people and then stiff arm somebody before he crossed the goal line.
Right.
So that was a great way to start that game, man, and they just kept rolling. Beat Boston College 44-14. And that kid scored 3 times, kickoff return and 2 rushing touchdowns. So great job, man. Florida State's coming back. This is the first time
that's what the KO is there. I thought maybe he knocked somebody out.
Well, he knocked him out with that return, starting the game. So that was really good, man. That was really
is
good.
Boston College any good? Like I don't know anything about that.
They got a decent squad, man. They always step the game up when they play Notre Dame. Notre Dame schedules.
So that's
them
kind of a little rivalry there.
Yeah. That's one of the teams that I hate. Hey, I don't like maroon and gold teams at all.
That's
I'm only rooting for Florida State now because my boy's out there head coach. But other than that, I'm not a fan of maroon and gold teams. And OU's Scarlet, so I can't consider them maroon anymore. So I'm cool with them at this point. But all you other maroon schools, y'all can kick rocks, kick them as far as you can. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, y'all, Fireside, what's up, man? Shout out to Fireside. YouTube, if you don't have Fireside, go download that app today, man. Check us out. And there's a lot of other amazing shows on there. Check them out. People just, entertaining folks, man. That's what, Fireside's about. But, we're going to keep moving forward in this one right here. Right, next, we'll talk about this Aaron Judge, Roger Maris chase right now, man. So, it's kind of depressing, man, because it's like, guys, are y'all going to pitch at this guy or what, man? Like,
right.
So I think he walked 3-4 times yesterday.
Are they
like
just
that?
like home run blocking him at this point?
Yeah, bro. That's the one thing I do not want to see.
Right.
Like, pitch to the man.
Right.
Everybody knows what's up.
Let's give him one.
Yeah. Right. And the whole thing was, Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 154 games. Right. So Aaron Judge has done that. Right.
Yep.
Roger Maris hit 60 home runs in like 161 games, something like that. His last game of the season, whatever, he hit his 161. Or I'm sorry. Ooh, that'd be a whole lot of home runs.
That'd be a lot of runs.
But he hit his 61st home run in his last game of the season. Aaron Judge has to do it like well before then, right? I think there's like 7 games left or something like that.
Right.
And they're not pitching to him, Like, it's a little bit too late to not be pitching to this man. Y'all been pitching to him all season. So don't wait till the last week to not pitch to him when this man has a chance to do something incredible, and we're not even, it's not 75 like my boy Barry, Right. What was it, 72 home runs, something like that? It's not my boy Barry. But 61 is an incredible feat if he gets a chance to hit it, man.
Right.
Do you think they'll pitch to him in this last week of baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those. You're right. It's kind of like, especially if you're already behind, like, just take one. Take one for the league.
Yeah, bro.
It's not like MLB's got the greatest publicity already.
Exactly. They need something.
Like, give us something to make it worth watching.
They need something, man.
I get that you don't want to get just slam dunked on the game, or especially if it's close, or if you're a little bit ahead, like, you don't want to give them that shot. I understand that.
Yeah.
But like, if you got a run or two to play with, just consider it.
Yeah, and we're not just saying
for the fans.
Throw a lollipop in there. We're not just saying just go up there like just here you go, hit a bomb like y'all did with Albert Pujols on his 700 home run. Like, the guy just laid it right in there. For a team he played with last year in the playoffs, like, threw him a straight. We call it a cock shot in baseball because it's like right down the pipe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically threw Pujols a cock shot. Man, throw Aaron Judge a cock shot one time. See what happens.
Just hit him a fireball through there.
Yeah. Or just throw something in the strike zone.
Right.
Like, just walking 3-4 times a game, like, y'all got to cut that out, MLB. It looks real bad.
Give him a 95 or 100 mile an hour, like, right down the line.
It looks incredibly bad on the league,
You know?
when that stuff happens, man. So, I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to see him hit 65 home runs. He's the type of guy that can go off for 7 home runs in 4 games.
He could, yeah. If he's getting strikes.
If he's getting strikes. That's the one thing right there. So, Outside of that, what else we got here? Looks like boxing. Everybody's favorite topic when we talk about boxing. Jake Paul.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, people just want to see the man get knocked out. I think. I mean, that's why I watch.
I think that's true.
They just want to see him get knocked out. And I will say this: he's fighting another UFC guy.
Yeah.
Right. Anderson Silva has had some boxing exhibitions.
Yeah.
Right. Prior to this.
Right.
And this is the biggest opponent he's fought. Like Anderson Silva's bigger than Jake Paul.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude. What I would say from watching Silva in MMA is like boxing is not really his strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
He's not at all to suggest that he's bad at it.
Yeah.
But like that's not really his focus.
Yeah.
Like, you expect to see knees and elbows with Silva, and he's not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be cool if he did, though. Right.
I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I think you'd see some knockout there. Like you would see Jake Paul get smashed.
Yeah. Nah. What if he did just decide to
Silva's like
elbows in the boxing match?
Unlike some of his other opponents that we've seen him do these exhibition things, Anderson Silva is no freaking joke.
No, he's not, bro.
Now he is again, like he's a little bit older. Like
Yep.
he's not really like actively chasing titles. Or
I think he's got Jake by like 16 years.
Yeah, like so it's not trivial.
Yeah.
But like Anderson Silva was a contender. Like he was serious. Like
Yeah.
he's not a.
He was a
not
former like UFC champion for
yeah,
years. For years
Well,
in the
a
UFC,
couple
but
years, anyway.
boxing, he
and was badass. Like like no, it's not no technical, accidental. Like he was throwing knockouts. He was dropping guys with knees, dropping guys with kicks.
Yep.
Dropping guys with punches, dropping guys with elbows, submissions. Like he was a kind of a total package.
Yeah.
In MMA.
Yep.
The concern here is like almost 20 years of age difference.
Yep.
And he's got a limited tool set.
For sure.
From what he's used to.
Just straight stand up, right? Straight combat, straight hands.
If there's like of the people that Jake Paul has gone to the ring with so far, I would say Anderson Silva has got far and away the greatest chance of making a good show of it.
Yeah. I hope he knocks him out, man. And I know we say this every time. And I honestly think that Jake Paul paid because there was a fight he was supposed to have a couple months ago.
Right.
And suddenly that fight went away.
Yeah.
And that fight was with a boxer.
Right.
I think Jake paid that guy to not fight him.
I can't remember who that was now.
I can't think of his name right now, but I honestly think Jake paid that guy to not fight him.
Yeah.
So I think that guy would have knocked him out quickly, at least second round, right? And, hopefully with Anderson's reach, his size.
And he's got some just crazy reach.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got
crazy reach, and at least back when he was fighting MMA regular, he had good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like had good defense, had good reflexes. So maybe that's tapered off some. But
yeah, and I don't want to see Anderson Silva get knocked out, man. I don't want to see it at all. That'd be bad. That'd be bad juju. So, I think he's got a chance.
Think you'd want to piss him off.
No. No,
you ring his bell one time, and he might
And again,
forget what the rules of boxing are, and
and again, he's been training for a couple years now at this point. Boxing. So, I think he's got a real chance to go in there and knock him out. The fact that we've been talking about Jake Paul boxing still blows my mind.
Yeah,
but the guy is 5-0 at this point against suspect competition. I wouldn't want to fight Tyron Woodley. That was very impressive to see him knock him out the way he did.
Yeah.
I still, you can never. It's just hard to believe that he's not paying some of these guys off because the UFC guys, they aren't making that money in the UFC. You know what I mean? So would you rather make however many millions getting knocked out by Jake Paul? Is it worth it to you to put a few more on there, right? But a few more M's on there, but. We'll see what happens, man.
But realistically, though, much as we like to pick on the YouTuber, Like Jake Paul does not look bad. Like
he's an
not-
athlete.
He's definitely put the work in.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's put the work in. He's got a good feel for what's going on in that ring. He's still not a boxer. I can't consider him a boxer though.
It's kind of difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a boxer.
It's a professional.
He's not a professional boxer to me. At this point.
And talking about any of these guys, like do you really want to like that's I think that's what fascinates and irritates people with Jake Paul.
Yeah.
It's like you're coming into somebody else's house and saying, like I'm taking all the beer out your fridge.
Yeah.
Because it's my house now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like,
but as a boxer, do you think boxers also appreciate him for bringing more attention to the sport? Because a lot of people stopped respecting the sport, and it's not necessarily because of the boxers. I think people stopped respecting the sport because of the judges, and the way that the judges can affect a boxing match so much, right? Like our eyeballs see this man get his ass whooped, and now because Brandon, Shirley, and David over here, they want the younger guy that's going to sell the most tickets to get the victory, so they can come back and have another job next week.
Yeah, there's that.
That's the stuff that just rubs me the wrong way about boxing.
Like we've seen some of that has happened. Some of that decline of respect for boxing has happened since MMA became a thing. Mm-hmm. That's been a long, kind of long, slow thing.
Yeah.
And people have kind of, like originally people looked at MMA and it was like a bunch of hoodlums, just basically just street fights in the ring. And originally it kind of was.
Yeah, they were doing some
like
craziness now.
They have come, they've come a long way in terms of making it more sportsmanlike and protecting the fighters and so on. But that's there's some differences there between how boxing is scored and how MMA is scored. Mm-hmm. And it's more technical, less obvious.
Yeah, so
in boxing.
But when it comes to the judges in MMA, they seem to get it right a lot more times than they don't versus boxing.
Yeah.
Like, what is that about? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the biggest difference is, with boxing, like, it's hard to tell, like, as a layman, as somebody who's not, like, a regular boxer or a boxer at all, in my case. It's hard to tell when a hit is really a hit in boxing because there's lots of
blocks like
stuff that's traded that, like, to me looks like a hit, but it's really just gloves bumping gloves.
Yeah,
and that's not a hit. Like that's just pads bumping pads.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really happening.
Yeah,
and there's lots of little, you get a lot of little jabs and little things like that don't really amount to much in boxing.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from boxing. That's part of the sport. That's part of the art.
For sure.
But in MMA, like when somebody hits somebody, you know it. Like,
absolutely.
Like there's no.
You hear that skin. That's skin on skin.
You hear that slap.
Yeah, man.
And when somebody gets a good lick in, like you can tell because it rocks them. Like and that's one of the reasons why it's rougher, but that's also one of the reasons why it is easier for. I think it's easier for people to understand judges' decisions.
Yeah.
In MMA because you can see it, and I also think taking over the show about this, but I also think that the production value of MMA in the last few years, not early versions, but in the last few years, I think the production value of them going back and there's a lot of people can say a lot of negative things about Dana White and about Rogan being involved with the commentary and all that and things like that. But I think that those changes have made it a lot easier. They've done a lot of instant replays and they'll show multiple angles and they'll point out like this is the thing. This was the one that scored the points.
Well, Joe Rogan's commentary is very unbiased, and that goes. I was gonna say this a little while ago. That's another problem with boxing. Like it seems like before the fight starts,
a little bit of favoritism.
Like the commentary, like they favor one guy the entire fight. They'll mention, "Oh, you see that shot? Yeah. Look at that beautiful combo. Yeah. There's another right hand. landed hook, uppercut,
Yeah.
hits him with
And
another jab,
there used
and
to
like
be
the other
the-
guy might be the most aggressive one in the match, landing
Right.
all the punches, and they don't say a word about
Right.
him. So they, mentally, your opinion is swayed due
Yeah.
to their words, right,
Right.
and what they're saying and how they're projecting this fight. When in actuality, like that's not what's going on.
Right.
I'm like, man, this dude's bleeding from his nose, and y'all haven't talked about one of the punches that has caused this to happen right here. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think of who that was that fight, or the guy was just getting beat up.
Yeah.
And they kept talking about how he was winning.
Yeah. It happens all the
he's
time.
not. Like there's no.
Yeah. Like a guy, so
And every now and then you'll see somebody come back and and like land what was almost a knockout, and ring somebody's bell enough that they can come back from something like that. But that's rare. I mean, that's really unusual.
yeah.
I mean, it's usually pretty one-sided on those things. Well, not really, but there's a lot of cases where something was really one-sided and the commentary went in the opposite direction of what was obviously happening,
Yeah.
and the judgment went in the opposite direction of what was obviously happening. And that's like you kind of
But
It's
like I
hard
said,
to- it's
all
hard to
goes
justify that.
to whoever they feel is going to put the most asses in seats,
Right,
right? Like
right.
Shakur Stevenson or
Yeah.
Stevens had a fight this past weekend against Conceição, and Conceição, like 2 fights ago, he beat this Hispanic fighter, this Latin fighter, like beat him,
yeah.
but due to the commentary and what was going on, and the fact that this other fighter was undefeated at the time,
Right.
and and he could sell tickets.
What's the longest?
Right, and that guy, like, they gave the other guy the victory when he clearly got his ass
Yeah.
whooped, right? And then now Stevens, Shakur, whatever, he's now beat both of them.
Yeah.
But even I think he knocked the other guy out,
Uh-huh.
right? And he had a great fight with Conceição this
Right.
past weekend, right? Like Friday night. Like, it was a really good fight, but I mean, he's just the better boxer, so he really whooped his ass, but he didn't knock him out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And you can just tell that Conceição is literally the better fighter between the two, between him and that Latin guy that he beat,
Right.
that he got the L from in the judges' decisions,
Right.
and the commentary. Like, it was just like, that's the stuff I don't like about boxing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what I don't like about
Well, I think there's something to be said for
I love boxing, though, so I'll watch.
like, like I would never want to see somebody throwing a match, throwing a game or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I do think there's some people want to stack things, a little bit, and put a little unfair advantage on things.
Yep.
And it tends to be like with boxing and a few other places, it tends to be when they're going after the fringe market, like not the hardcore people that are going to watch it regardless.
Yeah.
Because they're going to watch it regardless. They don't need anything. Like they're in it for the sport.
Yeah.
But then when you start seeing them trying to reach out and get the edge people, pull in people who wouldn't have watched a regular match, but if it's a hype match,
Yeah.
they'll watch that one.
Yep.
You know,
like,
or if it's something, like oh, I've heard of him. Well, like I want to watch that one. Like that's when you start seeing the funny stuff going on.
The business. Yeah. So this rumors of Mayweather and McGregor Part 2 coming up. Like I sit here and I'm like, who would want to watch that? But at the same time, it's like I'd probably still watch it, just because it's entertainment.
The thing is, like, they're both really entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in and out of the ring.
Yeah,
Like, they're
like,
both really entertaining.
All the talk prior to the match
yeah.
is like the most entertaining part of the fight, because the fight is not nearly as entertaining as the build-up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard for me to imagine them being in the same weight class.
Well,
I don't know why.
Well, because McGregor, he puts on muscle, but I mean they all
Yeah.
get big, but and shrink down. Like
Right.
Earl Spence, he walks around, dang near my size, a little bit
Right.
less than me. He's like 190, 195 walking around, but when he fights, he's 147.
Scooch it down.
You know what I'm saying? And that is
They cut right before the weigh-in.
Yeah, they
And
cut.
Then they have to put some back on.
Yeah,
to
they
survive.
cut. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see that Earl Spence
I
and
saw
Terrence Crawford fight.
I'll tell you what, so I just discovered this like a week or so ago. You seen Patty the Batty?
Yep.
MMA?
Yep.
Like, he has a YouTube channel, and it's actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, like you wouldn't. He's still got the same.
He's a goofball.
He's a goofball.
Yeah.
And but he owns it. Like,
Yep.
he's like, yeah, this is just the way I am.
Very entertaining.
But he was talking about in one of them, like how much weight he has to cut to get down to.
Well, that guy, he
fighting
doesn't.
weight.
He eats McDonald's and like he doesn't
Right.
eat like typical food. Like he's like Ocho Cinco, bro. Like
Yeah.
he's on a Mickey D's diet.
Yeah.
and doesn't care what
he
he's got.
was, he was talking about that, like some of that kind of stuff with. He was doing like the Marines workout.
Yeah.
With the Marines and doing their combatives with them. And he was like, "Holy shit, this sucks! I go get a beer."
Yeah, he's a nut now. That dude's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw like I keep up on YouTube with a lot of the different boxers and things like
Right.
that. And finally, I saw our boy, man. Somebody called out our boy, man, talking smack to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that means he's getting on up there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm happy to see it. You know, bad news is good news, right? Any publicity is good publicity.
Well, yeah. Well, when somebody's thinks enough of you to tell you that you suck.
Yeah, so Keyshawn Davis, right? He's in the
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford camp. It's almost like gangs now. So
Oh,
Terrence
yeah,
Crawford camp, Earl Spence camp.
Right.
Frank Martin is in Earl's camp. So
Right.
Keyshawn Davis is like, I'll step on Frank. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm like, ooh, Frank's like, I don't talk.
Right.
Frank is
Right.
Frank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we just gonna get in that ring when it's
Yeah.
time and go to war. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I can't
Hey,
see
I respect
can't
that.
see Frank losing, bro.
Right.
I can't see it. I'm sorry. The guy is very sound. He's a great boxer and he loves his craft and he works. I've never seen anybody work that hard. Just he works, bro, and he's great. Talented
Yeah.
kid, man. It's
I
in the
don't want to
genes, bro.
derail the whole thing since we've only had like two little topics on boxing. But
Yeah.
one of the things I think with boxing is it's so much of a science that like you don't get when you think about the number of upsets that you can think of in boxing, like the fact that you can count so few of them.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking a while ago. Like, if you think about the difference between how long a heavyweight champion or featherweight champion for that matter lasts
Reigns.
in boxing,
Yeah.
versus MMA, which the longest, I think 3 years and a month or something is the longest period
Yeah.
in MMA for anything ever.
Yep.
And that was a rare
Yeah.
thing.
But they fight
that had
so
some,
much.
that had some controversy about some of the fights that they turned down.
Yeah.
But anyway, point being that like the science of boxing, because again, I'm not taking anything away from boxing as a sport,
Yeah.
as a physical activity. Just that it's so analyzed and it's so scientific at this point. The average person sees a bunch of guys slugging it out with some gloves on.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's no science to that, but there's a ton of it.
Absolutely.
And like until you pay attention to the details of it, and
Ring
have somebody who can explain to you what just happened.
Yep.
Like and I think that has something to do with why, boxing has been like they've had to do some things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't have to, but they have done some things to try to get it more exciting that weren't necessarily, I wouldn't say, were the right ways to go about it.
Yeah. Right now, it's the most exciting it's ever been. In comparison
It
to
is
back
definitely
when Sugar Ray and even back to Muhammad Ali days. Right? Like boxing is really up there right now.
Tyson was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? I can't
watch
just
Mike.
Can't just skip Mike Tyson. But even his reign ended quickly because of the loss of Buster Douglas. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so right now we have a heavyweight champion
they
that
were
is Tyson Fury is. I don't see anybody beating that man. I'm sorry. He's very
he's
unorthodox.
tough,
He's
yeah.
long, and he's good.
Yeah.
And he's like, boxers. You look at Mike Tyson. You look at these other boxers. They are ripped.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyson Fury looks like he just got off the couch eating a bag of potato chips, man. You know what I mean? Looks like he just ate some fried chicken.
Yeah.
Some not even fried chicken, some KFC.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and there's, and I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody or anything, but there's, there were some juice things going on
With Tyson?
with somebody.
Tyson Fury?
With somebody, some people back in the day.
Oh yeah. Mike Tyson.
Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm not pointing any fingers.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody who could still kick my ass, even though he's
You know what I'm saying? It is what
way
it is.
past retirement
Yeah,
age.
I mean, bro, like,
But
that you know, that's in all sports. Like, it wasn't just
Yeah.
baseball. It was. I mean, I bring up Bo Jackson. People don't like to hear that. People don't like to
Yeah.
hear me talk about juice. I'm not even gonna get on it right now.
Right. Well,
but there
I'm
is
just
some
saying,
athletes. Yeah,
like in kind of the golden age of MMA,
yeah,
like you would see guys who were just huge and ripped and really aggressive and taking it to the ring.
yeah.
And that's not really like natural.
Look at the size of the heads on these.
You
guys.
look at like where we are now, where
Yeah.
where USADA's come in and does some testing, and you see a lot less ripped,
Yeah.
leaner look. Like they may still be big, but they look a little bit leaner in terms of muscle content.
Yeah. I just want to say USADA for my boy Ray.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're still tough. Like they're still badass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think to circle back to what we were talking about originally, Fury's got like that body type has, if he's done his training, which obviously he has.
Yep.
Like that body type gives you a tremendous amount of endurance.
Yeah.
Long, 10 round, 12
sure.
round endurance.
And I think Fury does cocaine too. So that's-
He may do some.
I think he'd be on that coke.
He may just have
Like
some,
I said,
may
I
just
only
have
dude
some
I ever
issues,
seen
but-
flicker his eyes and flicker his tongue in a boxing match and get up like Undertaker after getting knocked out. So. Nah, but Fury, he's fun to watch. He's an entertaining
Yeah.
guy, man. He's figured
Yeah,
it
he
out,
is,
the
he is,
marketing
he is.
standpoint, and he can box, man. Like, sad to say, like the guy can box. I just hate the fact that the belt's over in the UK right now.
Yeah.
So
I like to watch him box.
yeah, some of you big guys, man, over here in the U.S., get after it, man, because I ain't big enough to do that now.
Gonna have
But
to do some training. Get up to
that guy's got me by a full foot, almost. You know what I mean? That guy's tall, bro. Super tall, 6'9" or something, 6'7".
That's a lot of reach.
Yeah, that guy, he'll be tough to get in on, bro. I'd have to bum rush him, dog, and hope not to get hit. So, that guy, yeah, he's Tyson Fury, man. He gets on that Fury, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, got to watch out. Got to make sure he's not hitting them lines before the match starts, So, we're going to move on to tech talk.
Moving on. Moving right on along.
Taking them bumps. So what you got for us this week, man? And my favorite part of the show, Tech Talk, Jay.
Speaking of Battle Royal,
Yeah.
which it wasn't really, but it was it got a little heated. There was Google and their parent company Alphabet had a company-wide meeting recently, and they announced, part of the reason for having the company-wide meeting was that they were announcing some, cost-cutting measures, let's say.
Okay.
And they didn't sound too bad.
Was
from
this
my
due to COVID?
perspective. This was, we're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was one of the questions.
Today's Blame COVID Day.
One of the questions was, we just recorded record profits. Why are we doing cost cutting?
Yep.
And the answer is, well, we unsteady economy. We're not really sure what the future holds. We need to take reasonable precautions.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rich get richer.
Yeah, well, and so there was a lot of question about, okay, well, so Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, you just
say that one more time.
Sundar Pichai.
Pichai, okay. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google. Hey,
Sorry,
that's better than what I could have done.
So they gave him some crap about flying, corporate jet from, San Francisco to New York.
What do they expect, bruh? It's Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google.
Well, the question was like, okay, so if we're in this cost cutting measure, it was flying from San Francisco to New York to do this, effectively, basically an interview. Is that really the best use of company funds?
Yes.
Well, that's what he said.
Absolutely.
That's what he said.
You want to know why? Time is money, and the quickest way for me to get
Yeah.
there, the quicker I can land and make more money, the quicker I can get back and make more money.
And in terms of tech CEOs, like he's definitely got a lot more respect from me than a lot of them do.
Yeah.
But you do have to question, like, are you like really? Is cutting everybody's salary or cutting it, which they didn't do, or cutting out the holiday party? Like, is that really where the budget cut needs to be? Like, you couldn't, like, you're gonna save a couple $1 million. You couldn't have taken that like off of your salary times 3 or 4 other.
Well, it's Google.
executives.
Like they're figuring out how to automate things, right? And they don't need as much
are they?
manpower.
Really?
I'm guessing. But what advancements has Google made? People just go there to search for stuff.
Like
I know they got the
now.
phone.
So under the umbrella of Google, you have search, obviously. Gmail is still under Google. GCP, the Google Cloud Services,
Yep.
is still under Google.
So all the features of Google.
Yeah,
Drive
a
and-
lot of the big stuff of Google is still Google, not Alphabet.
Google is it Sheets, the spreadsheets?
Sheets
Yeah.
and Docs and all that,
Yeah.
which we use to do our.
But I mean, that's-
my email is hosted by Gmail.
But that's not something that Google's like inventing. They're just like seeing other people do it and then creating, coding their own form of it, right?
Yeah, so
They're not like
original-
making any like new like.
Well, I mean, I can. How deep do you want to get into this?
Let's go.
I'll give
It's
you.
tech
I'll give
talk.
you a like my opinion rundown of how some of this stuff went down. So way back in the day, they invented search. They didn't invent search. They invented a specific algorithm that worked. I mean, I don't think I'd be wrong to say it worked a hell of a lot better than anything else that was around at the time.
Mm-hmm.
PageRank, the PageRank algorithm, which is when you think Google, it all goes back to PageRank.
Yeah.
Sergey and the other guy.
That's SEO, right? Like, basically, that's
No,
what
it's
SEO
not.
has to
That's
do
not
too?
even SEO at that
Really?
point.
So what's PageRank?
Well, PageRank is where SEO came from
Okay,
because SEO is an attempt to optimize for PageRank.
got you.
PageRank was, I'm going to really simplify this in the interest of time and my forgetting something important. But PageRank basically crawled the internet, looked at everything they could get to on the internet, looked at how many links there were in and out of particular pages.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave you some points. Did particular words, that were associated with search term, did those, how relevant basically was what your web page was to the, the searched term,
Yeah.
and and a few other things, and spit out a list that basically said, like, you searched for, Noonish Live Sports and Tech, and these are the pages that are the most relevant to that.
Yeah.
And based on the number of links in and out, these are ones that we think are the most likely to be the one you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which sounds like, okay, well that's a search engine, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Except that way back then, in what was this, like the 90s, like late 90s, this was not how search engines worked.
Yeah.
Like, there was barely even a search engine.
We're talking card catalog.
So
It was a search engine.
Well, so you had Alta Vista, and you had which was one of the better ones at that time. You had Yahoo,
AOL.
AOL had something kind of sort of searchish. There were a couple other ones. I'm really drawing a blank on one of the ones that I used to like way back then. But they weren't really, like, they were searching, but they weren't searching the internet. They were searching basically a database of pages that they had collected.
Yeah. Got
So
you.
they basically indexed those things, and it was very labor intensive. So
Yep.
like, basically a person was going out and, like, there was a web crawler
Yeah.
that would
And it
go
was
out,
limited
but it was
to-
a person who was pulling it in and doing the sort
Yeah.
originally. They got a little bit better, but it was very, like, what
limited.
Alta Vista
Like,
wanted you to see.
Yeah,
Or what Yahoo wanted you to see.
limited to their
It
resources.
was limited to their resources. It was limited resources, period. And it just wasn't like you really had to dig to find what you were looking for. You got a lot of random stuff.
Yeah,
And then Google comes along with PageRank, and it was the internet. Like, you search something on Google, and if it had been out there long enough, so there's a time frame there before the web crawler, the PageRank web crawler, finds your page and indexes it into PageRank.
Yeah.
That used to be quite a long time. Now it's like a few days.
yeah,
But it used to be quite a long time. And if you'd been out there long enough for it to get to your page, and somebody searched for what your specifically thing was, like, you were going to get found.
yeah,
Unlike where you used to have to know somebody at Yahoo or be really, really, really popular
to
or
get,
whatever.
yeah.
Like, this changed the game.
Yep.
Like, it really, like, you don't realize now how much of a game changer PageRank was at that time. Plus, and this is really the secret sauce of Google. You hear people talk about ad revenue.
Yeah.
And you hear about, like, Google ads and things like that. It's not that nobody did ads before. It's not that nobody had, little, adverts that would be on the side or on the top or whatever. What Google did that was so completely different. Because already, even back in the 90s, people were sick of seeing pop-up ads and sick of seeing banner ads and sick of seeing the blinky ads. Nobody's ever liked that.
Yeah.
Advertisers, nobody has ever liked that.
Hate it. That's why they made pop-up blockers.
Right.
Yeah.
What Google did that was so completely counterintuitive, but was so effective, was they put like one ad.
Yeah.
No blinky stuff, no pop-ups, one little ad.
Yeah.
Clearly marked as an ad. They've kind of stepped away from that, but clearly marked as an ad. And like, if it was what you wanted, great.
Yeah.
If it wasn't what you wanted, you could scroll right on past it.
And was the ad dependent upon the algorithm or
And
dependent?
the ad was dependent on the algorithm.
Okay, so
if you were
depending on what
searching
they're
for
searching,
something,
yep.
it would send you something that was, here's your search results, and here's your ad that is relevant to some extent, at least, to what you're doing. And that really subtle, not even subtle, just not in your face way of doing the advertising was huge. People loved it. People loved the fact that they weren't bombarded with bullshit.
Wasn't so scatterbrained. It was more focused towards what
and
like.
Because they loved it, they kept going back to Google.
Yeah.
Because they kept going back to Google, they kept seeing those ads more than they were seeing all the flashy, fancy ads that people were putting everywhere else.
Clicking X's
It was
on.
like, it's so counterintuitive, but it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then, because Google is the way Google is, and so many of the things that we take for granted now were not really built yet, or we're still in their infancy. They said, well, if we're doing this, we've got to have all these servers, and we got to have all this stuff. We might as well see. Like in the 90s, everybody ran their own email server.
Yeah.
Like not every Tom, Dick, and Harry, but like everybody who had an internet service, like they had their own email service.
Yeah.
Like I ran like a half a dozen of them back in.
I didn't even know there was email in the 90s. Right? Like I was a late adopter, bro. Like I was like email.
Yeah, like
I'll just write this letter.
Like people were either on AOL
Let me
or
get this stamp.
CompuServe or whatever, and which had their own email service.
Yeah.
So Google did what everybody else did, and created their own email service. But instead of you having to get Outlook, which was around back then,
Yep.
or some other really, really horrible, even more horrible than Outlook system to look at your email.
Yeah.
Google said, well, we're just going to put it on a webpage.
Mm-hmm.
You log into the webpage, and here's your email. Not only that, but we're going to use some of the knowledge that we've gained from algorithms and be able to prioritize stuff for you.
Did Google do that before Yahoo? Because I know Yahoo first
like
was
they had their email.
When I first started dealing with the internet, and like in the early 2000s, right, when it was still kind of people hadn't really hadn't got it yet,
adopted it the way they have now.
Yahoo was my search engine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yahoo News, so I get all kinds of stuff from Yahoo. But over time, like Yahoo Mail, you know, and same thing.
Again, Yahoo was
Right.
first was an index.
So Google has taken what Yahoo was doing and has how did that transition occur? How did Google take from Yahoo and become the source for search engines?
Yeah, well,
The search
that's what I say.
source.
It's like Yahoo also was really not a search engine.
Yeah.
Like it was an index.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
they had
so
a
they
bunch
had
of
limited
stuff.
resources as well.
And Yahoo, so it's been a long time, and Yahoo's not like Yahoo doesn't do that anymore, really at all. So anyway, so Yahoo had, if I'm not just completely off base about this, Yahoo used to have like it was set up in like a hierarchical like I want to look at business stuff. So you click on Yahoo Business.
Yep.
And it would take you through, and there was like, do you want to look at finance stuff?
Yep.
Okay, well, you click on that.
Sports, news.
Do you want to look at sports? Well, you go to Yahoo Sports. And you go look at that. And it wasn't really like you didn't just go, I'm going to type in the search bar, how did the Ravens do last week?
Yeah.
And get results. Like, that's not how it worked.
Yep.
You had to go to Yahoo Sports, football.
So they would guide
Ravens.
you. Yeah, got you.
They weren't really guiding you. Had to navigate this.
Yeah,
stuff
you had to
yourself.
navigate it, but they, they had.
But it was curated.
Yeah, yeah.
It was curated, and it was not like it wasn't really live. It wasn't really. It was more live than like a weekly newspaper, but it wasn't really at the level of. I want to know how what's going on with the hurricane in Florida. Florida hurricane, 2022. Boom! I've got thousands and thousands of choices of, do I want to look at web pages that just, have commentary about it? Do I want to look at live news of what it is? Do I want to see YouTube videos that people who are in it right now have just uploaded?
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is like it wasn't like you just could go in one place and type in a search term and go for it.
I feel like Google
Until
has
Google came along.
become like the Amazon of the internet. Like the marketplace
In a way, yeah.
of the web.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
Like
you can
there's
go
a reason
search.
there's a reason why we talk about those top handful of things is because they dominated the hell out of everything else.
Yeah.
And much as we may yak about problems with Facebook, like, do you remember MySpace?
MySpace, man. But MySpace was so much fun. They had all the, I could code. I learned how to code a little bit. I could design my page, put my music on there.
Yeah, everybody's MySpace page
Was the
had
best.
some kind of blinky shit on it and some music that played whether they fucking wanted it to or not.
Yep. I had my jams on my MySpace page.
That was everybody's MySpace page.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No,
And then Facebook came along, and
I was a late adopter of Facebook.
And I jumped on Facebook fairly early because I liked that it was clean. Like, so this would be so weird to
Was.
talk about now.
Was.
But
Big,
way
bold,
back
red
then,
letters. Was clean.
Facebook used to be a much cleaner interface.
Yep.
Didn't have like shit popping up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It was like just the people that you knew.
Mm-hmm.
And like you could do photos pretty soon. Trying to remember when, but like originally it was mostly just the update.
Yeah.
Just, this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
This is what I'm thinking about right now. No auto playing music, no blinky shit all over the place.
Yeah.
It was just it was simple and like that's when I stopped liking Facebook. The further they get towards like looking like a bunch of bullshit MySpace blinky shit,
Yeah.
like, less I like it.
Yep. No, that's
But
Facebook. Yeah.
But that's the killer. Like the killer app of these things is when and I don't really think that it's the genius of any particular person. They just got lucky and hit on something that worked.
Yeah. It's so
I'm
funny, man.
I'm not saying that they weren't smart. I'm not saying that they didn't put the work in. I'm just saying that like there's a certain amount of luck involved in finding the thing that works,
Absolutely, man. It's so funny because nowadays,
especially for the time.
I admire people that don't have a Facebook page, that don't have an Instagram page, that don't have social media whatsoever, that don't do much on the web. Because like now that I'm in it, I feel like I'm tied to it. And
How do you find them?
Like, I just got friends. Like, you just call them. You know, like they got cell phone numbers, right? Or they face to face. But
At that, if you got a cell phone, you might as well just do it.
yeah, but like those people that don't have any of that stuff, like I admire it, man. Like, and it's like, man,
anybody who wants to find out about you, if you're not doing it because you don't want people to find out about you, if you got a cell phone, the people you don't want to find out about you can anyway.
I remember those days in like 2006 when I didn't have Facebook, and I was like I was like, I don't have Facebook. I ain't getting on that mess.
Right.
And then boom, I'm on it, keeping up with friends. Now I'm, it's just something, it's part of the day now. You know what I mean? It's part of the day, just like jumping in there. Just to, even if I'm bored or something, I just jump on there and see what people are doing.
Well, let's take it a little bit more recent that people who are, probably were paying a little bit more attention to, and younger people will be much more familiar with the process of, and talk Uber.
Yeah.
Like, how many things have you heard about people saying, what's like the Uber of blank, blank, blank?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Uber is not the only ride sharing program.
No, but
that
they
existed.
were the Bitcoin of ride sharing. You like how I did that?
I like how you did that. Yes. Yeah.
They were the first to market. And that, outside of the taxi, right? Taxi cabs, the yellow cabs have been doing it forever.
That's
but
not even really.
it's the accessibility to.
Yeah, it's the accessibility of the app.
Yeah.
It's the. I saw somebody said, it's like a meme going around that said, like 90s kids were told never get in a car with a stranger.
Yeah.
Don't
even talk to strangers.
Don't talk to strangers. Don't get in a car with a stranger. Don't share any of your information on the internet.
Yeah.
Like 2010 kids, like yeah, just put all your information into this app and get in a car with a stranger. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was Uber. Like, Uber did that.
Yep.
And again, like, I don't think it was necessarily that they had, some kind of secret magic sauce that nobody else had. They got lucky and hit it at the right time with the
took a
right
risk.
technology and took some risks.
Yeah.
And so some of which have come back to bite them.
Yep.
But what you see is now people will talk about, well, it's the Uber of blank, 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 or it's the Bitcoin of blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
Or it's the Facebook of blank, 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 or it's the Google of blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
And the reason that that's not the way to think about it. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a tech entrepreneur or whatever, and you're trying to come up with the next idea, or you think you have the next big idea, if you're describing it as the Uber of blah, 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 you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
It's probably not the right thing. Because nobody, when those things came out, said, oh, well, it's the blank, blank, blank of the blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
Everybody said, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Like, why?
Why would you, until they use it a little bit.
That's
Google,
when you got a winner.
Nobody, here's news flash for you. If you weren't around back then, nobody fucking liked Google.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, well, I'm sticking with Alta Vista.
Yep.
Why would I go there? I've already got AOL.
I thought I was sticking to Yahoo.
Right.
Like,
Right.
seriously.
Yeah.
And now I'm Google searching
I did too.
everything. I
Like,
Google search myself sometimes just to see what's
you
out
think
there.
about like Hadoop, which is one of the things that nobody in our audience is
Hadoop.
going to be like, what the hell?
Hadoop, yeah. That's
But
some real
that came
tech
from
talk
Yahoo.
right there.
It came
Really?
from Yahoo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it's
Wow.
the original underlying code for the file HDFS file system came from Yahoo.
Wow. Okay.
So all this stuff was out there, and like I say, people didn't even really like Google at first.
yeah.
Until it kept getting a little more traction, and people started seeing, this thing actually kind of does work better.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you learn how to do
different
Boolean searches.
Boolean searches.
I call it bouillon.
Boolean. You may be right.
You know?
I don't
But,
know. I don't
but
know.
yeah.
How many times have I ever heard anybody pronounce that word out loud?
Bouillon searches,
But,
man.
yeah,
Hey, y'all look that up. You know,
the-
it's gonna help your Google game
Boolean
out.
searches.
Step your Google game up. You know,
if you're looking for something, like
specifically.
if you're looking for something specific, and you keep getting stuff like from, I don't know, like we're YouTube. Like you're looking for some particular videos, like you want to see TikTok videos, but you don't want to see YouTube results.
Yep.
Minus YouTube.
Yeah.
Done. And
Yep.
you've just filtered out all the YouTube stuff.
Yep. Y'all check
Like,
out
just like
Bouillon, man. That's the cheat code to Google. You know.
Oh, and there's so many things you can do with Google search that nobody ever uses.
Like what? Come on, talk to me now.
It's
You might put
a
me on some
little
game right now.
complicated to think about, but how to explain it in a verbal format. But
Yeah.
like you can do things like, just like you can say don't include YouTube, you can also say only include certain websites.
Yep.
You can say things like I only want to look at certain file types. So
Yeah.
like normally when we think web page, okay, well that's HTML, stuff like that. But what if you wanted to look for Word documents?
Yeah.
Well, you can specify,
What you want?
.doc file type,
Yeah.
and you can make that fairly complicated. Like you can do some fairly complicated things to say, well, I want to see Word documents and also whatever the Apple file extension is and things
Yeah.
like that. You can do
That's some things you can do with quotations.
You can do things with quotation.
With
Like, okay, here's
AND.
right. If you want to
Capitalized.
look for a very, like I look at a lot of quotes. I hear something, I want to look it up, find out who said it and what the context was. The way you do that is you get the quote and put it in quotes.
Yep.
But you put it in quotes and it searches for that
Specifically those words.
Yeah, as close to a match as you can for those specific words.
Yep.
If you're looking for lyrics, if all I just got a few of the lyrics,
Put them in
of the song,
quotes.
put it in quotes. If it's something that's been indexed, you'll probably find it.
Yep.
It's crazy how much stuff you can find if you put some Google foo to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
and specifically, like,
Yeah.
we'll get you right where you want to go very fast.
I mean, that's really like I'll let y'all in on the secret to a lot of my success in doing the things that I do is like I just know how to Google stuff.
Yeah.
I learned early on
How to do Bouillon searches?
Boolean and
Boolean.
like advanced search stuff and how to just how to
I say
basically
bouillon.
just how to get what I wanted back from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, and then the flip side of that is looking through the search results and being able to tell from just those few lines that are shown on the search results, okay, that's not, and,
Yep.
and be able to skip through quickly and refine that search, those search terms down,
yeah.
include things and exclude things and figure out, understanding what words trigger the right response that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And being able to find answers to things, to questions that the other people are like, oh, I don't understand. Let me think about that for a minute. And I'm like,
Yeah. Quotes, parentheses,
problem solved.
questions. There's some more things that you have just put me on. Like,
Yeah.
only, right?
I mean,
or
if
minus.
it's something that you're
right?
interested
Like-
in, like there, you can still, if I'm not badly mistaken, I think you can still go to like when you go to the search thing. There's an advanced thing. I think you have to search something and then it shows up as for the advanced thing.
Are there any directions, like instructions for people?
Yeah, there are.
Like
just
you can look up Bouillon search,
just Google it.
what, tags or like words? Or,
Google advanced searching on Google or something
Yeah.
like that. Google
Wow.
searching advanced, something like that.
Yeah.
There's tons of pages out there that can show you how to find like specific types of things.
Yeah.
And and then you just have to play with it.
Very cool.
Play with it and try different things and see what happens.
Very cool stuff, man. I hope y'all appreciated that fireside because I sure
Yeah.
as heck did, man.
Hope you're not all asleep
Hey, man.
now.
Hey, this is Noonish Sports and Tech. So if you're into the tech side too, man, still tune in for sports. I ain't gonna tell you to not come back, right? I want you to come back for whatever you love. We got your flavor over here, and whatever it is, man.
So one other speaking of big companies that change the way things work in a lot of ways, Microsoft also had an interesting thing come out this week, kind of opposite of Google,
Yeah.
at least in terms of the response from people.
What was it?
Microsoft who does a lot of research, does a lot of tracking of what people are doing, productivity and things like that of their employees, all the more so since COVID, because a lot of people have been working from home, working from remote places.
Yep.
And Microsoft says, you know what? We've done the research, and if you want your employees to be productive and be engaged, don't track their every move when it's in the workday.
Oh, people don't like micromanaging?
Oddly enough, people don't like to have their every
Are you
moment
serious?
tracked and micromanaged. Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's funny how that worked out.
So people are more productive when you do not micromanage them.
yeah, I mean,
When you empower them.
I know that goes against like hundreds of years of business school, management school, but yeah, oddly enough, people hate that shit.
So is the key to it all like hire people that you don't have to micromanage? Or does that even matter?
You know what? I'll go you one better. I'll go you one better than that because, and we've got a company right down the road here that flies airplanes that is a prime example of it.
Millionaire? Or who are you talking about?
Herb is probably a millionaire, yeah.
Oh.
Kelleher's probably got a few.
I thought you were talking about Million Air, like the yeah, it's an airport here
That's
called
about
Million
Southwest, which is not the same thing.
Air. Oh, okay.
But
Well, they've got more,
but-
I'm sure.
It's not even necessarily that you hire the best people.
Yeah.
Hire people that are good enough and do a good job training them, treat them well. American Airlines, I have to go to the American Airlines desk, not the ticket, not the gate desk.
The actual check-in desk.
I have to ask somebody and hope that they will even take it seriously. And then they have to go and ask somebody. And chances are, not only are they not going to be able to get me quickly rerouted or whatever,
You
I'm
probably have
also
to buy a
probably
ticket.
going to have to pay some more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Southwest, I go to the gate agent who will generally go out of their way to try to help me.
So that customer experience matters
unless it's just too far out, like unless it's just something that they just can't do without having to charge me more.
Like I was supposed to go to Austin, but man, look, man, can y'all just switch my ticket to Spain? I think I need to go to Spain now.
Right. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But like if they can reroute you in a way that like, and I have had some Southwest gate agents go like above and beyond.
Oh, I love that.
Like unbelievable amount of effort and time and get on the phone and call people.
Yeah.
Like can we do this? Well, what about like I know it says it's full, but can we do this?
Yeah.
Like unbelievable. Like just Chris, I still remember you got me home from through New Orleans from wherever that was, Baltimore, I think. Like. And you don't get that by micromanaging your employees.
Yep.
Like there's zero amount
For sure.
of standing over somebody's shoulder, making them go through, 47-page checklist and fill out a bunch of forms. You're never going to get that quality of customer service that way.
Wow.
You know how you're going to get it? Empowering that employee to do their fucking job.
Yep, and take care of the customer.
And take care of the employee, and they will take care of the customer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that they will do their job, and they will take care of the customer, right? So, did you know, or do you know why Southwest was able to stay in business? Back in the long time ago. Long time ago.
Let's hear your version of it. I do, but it's time. I've talked enough for a while.
Liquor. Liquor sales on the planes differentiated Southwest.
That's true.
From
That is
other
true.
airlines. They sold liquor on planes.
They sold the liquor on
got
the
them
planes.
boozed up.
They sold the liquor on the planes. Not just that they sold it, but again that like they empowered the people on the plane, the flight attendants on the plane to not only sell it, but they, at that time at least, gave them an allowance of giveaways. Yeah. Yep. And for, basically as a customer service thing.
If that don't scream Texas.
That's true. Right. That is very Texas.
What you mean? Our bottom line is, what you mean we're in the red?
Yeah.
Throw some liquor on that plane. Let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Throw some liquor on that plane.
That's
man.
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but
this
like,
was...
and so Microsoft is now saying, yeah, and hey, we got the data to back it up. We've been micromanaging all these people.
Duh. Like, duh.
No, they did a fairly extensive. I don't remember how many people Microsoft employs now, but they have a lot, and they tracked. Some of them, we're going to do this the traditional method, and we're going to make people be on these like all day Teams calls, and you check out if you got to go to the bathroom, you got to let somebody know. You better let them know when you come back.
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. And then they had the rest of them that tried, different strategies from check in with me every so often to, don't give a shit what you do as long as the work gets done.
Yeah, bro. If I'm being micromanaged, that's a place I'm not gonna
Right.
be. Like I don't like when I can be writing, I can be playing a video game, I can be pouring a drink. If somebody's standing over my shoulder, bro,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna turn around and say something real bad to you real quick.
Well, and there's a difference between micromanaging and being like, well, you didn't hold the glass in the right hand. Like you're supposed to hold it 1 inch above the counter.
That's OCD,
right? Versus somebody who's standing behind you, not as a micromanager, but more like a coach.
Mm-hmm.
If you got somebody who's standing behind you as a coach, who's saying, yeah, I see you keep having a problem with like this thing's.
Yeah,
I don't know why we're hung up on pouring drinks.
That's very different. That's very different.
But yeah, I see that your martini is always a little bit heavy on the.
I think you can improve by doing this instead of this.
Yeah, try doing it this way.
That's different. That's
different. And then back off and let you do it.
But if you're sitting here, okay, if I do it one way,
right,
and it gets the job done,
right,
effectively, but it's not quite the way that you wanted me to do it, you know what I'm gonna do?
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, get your ass over here and do it yourself. All right?
Yeah.
Because I got it done. It was efficient, effective,
and
signed off. Everybody's happy.
That all goes back to the empowering the employees to do their job.
Yeah.
And what is their job? Like, legit. If you're, I don't know how many managers we have taken off Wednesday afternoon to watch our show.
Hey, managers, y'all need to listen up.
But if you're a manager,
trust
and
them.
you're thinking
fire them.
like, my employee, what is your employee's job? What is it that you actually want out of them?
Yeah.
Do you want them to sit in a chair and push the mouse every few seconds just to make sure that the screen stays on? Like, is that what you want?
Nope.
Or do you have specific,
You want them to be impactful to their role.
right? Do you have specific KPIs or OKRs or whatever
Buzzwords.
that your part of the organization is in pursuit of, a number that you need to go up,
Yeah.
or whatever, a piece of software that you need to ship, a set of towels that need to get on the truck, whatever.
Yeah.
That is. Like, is that the important thing, or is it that they clocked in at a certain time?
The job got done.
Like,
is what the important thing is.
And some like every situation is different, and you have to like think about what your situation is.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the important thing is, did the job get done? Did the job get done effectively? Is there a way that you could make it more efficient? Probably.
Yeah.
But is it at all likely that standing over somebody with a ruler and smacking them every time they
Absolutely
look
not.
away from the screen,
Absolutely
or
not.
whatever? Like, no, that's probably not going to be
No.
that's a waste of your time. It's a waste of their time.
Yep. Because you're not
Like,
doing your job if you're looking over my shoulder.
If you got employees that just don't want to be there, well, look, they don't want to be there. Let them go.
Retool, baby.
If you got employees who want, like, I have seen people who desperately wanted to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please just get out of the way so we can do the work.
Or give me more.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Why would you not do that?
Exactly. So, some people got it all wrong. It's a control issue. Just
is,
because you're a control freak doesn't make you a good manager. Doesn't make you a good manager at all if you're a control freak. Personally, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, there's a place for that. Like,
yeah.
Like Southwest being a perfect example of like hopefully we've got the best trained pilots that we can afford.
Yeah.
Find the maintenance people maintaining the planes.
I want as
But
many
at the
control
same
freak
time,
employees that I can have. Because if they're a control freak, they're going to get things done, right?
well, yeah,
I don't got
that's
to
what I was gonna say.
micromanage
It's
a control freak.
If you've got somebody who likes details and likes controlling things, put them in a place where They can focus on details.
That's the
and
job
they
of
can
a
have
manager.
some control without damaging what other people are doing.
Yes, that's the job of a manager. Understanding your
yeah,
talent.
I mean, yeah, right.
And
yes,
putting
exactly.
them in the proper situation
Yeah.
and proper position to be successful.
Which
That's ultimately going to make the entire
what
organization
what
successful.
else does that sound like? What's another term that sounds like? Another role that definition sounds like?
You tell
sounds
me.
an awful lot like a coach.
Absolutely.
Like, this guy runs like the devil. Like,
Yes. And
we
that's why they call baseball coaches managers.
right.
Your head guy's a manager. Right?
So I mean, like, when you think about like why does these stupid guys on Noonish talk about sports and technology and business all the time? Because look, it's all one thing. Why is this
Exactly.
skinny white? Well,
You ain't skinny, man.
scrawny
I'm about
but
swole
fat.
up. You got them guns. I don't got them guns right now. I need
Like
to get
talking
back in the
about
gym.
MMA and violence things and things like that. Like, because all of that stuff is related.
Yep.
Like, we may not come to blows over stuff anymore as much,
Yeah.
but the underlying principle of a lot of the things, if you understand that, like, okay, that guy in the bar that's bowing up at me is not like really out to kill me.
Yeah.
He's showing off for that girl over there.
Yeah. There's
So
something
if
behind
you
that.
understand that there's different layers to things,
Yeah.
even a bar fight, there's different layers of things going on there.
Yeah.
Then you're much better able to understand that, when I go into this business meeting, that guy that keeps talking shit is actually showing off for that manager over there.
Yep.
That's what's really he's not actually out to get me.
He's
Got something else.
overselling
Like,
himself right now.
yeah, or like this guy who doesn't want my company to come in and help them do this. It's not because he doesn't like our company or even think that we could do a good job.
Yeah.
That's his turf.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
I'm approaching that through this guy,
He's
going to
now
be pissed.
getting, yeah.
Whereas if I were to come in
Through him. He gave me the keys.
Yeah,
He'll give me the keys
and
now.
I'm making
Lay out the
him
red
look like a
carpet.
hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all this stuff is related.
Yeah.
Like all this there's not separate things of sports and technology and business and all that.
It's
It's
all
all
related.
It's all human stuff.
Yep. It's all human stuff.
And that's what I like. Like
Yeah.
I like the human stuff.
Agree. I love the human stuff.
I don't like a lot of humans.
I don't mess with them aliens unless you're talking about them AT aliens. You know what I'm saying? I mess with outcasts. But yeah, I don't. I love that human stuff, man. But that's a great way to.
I don't know,
end
I've
this one,
seen
man.
some aliens on some movies. Or
Yeah, I've seen some aliens in the streets. Shoot, all the time. But no, man. Thank y'all so much. We
If you
definitely
made it through all
appreciate
that, Google
y'all spending y'all's time with us today. This minute and 37 seconds, man, and rolling and still moving. We appreciate y'all joining us today, man. We're back, man. Noonish, man. We're gonna be a full staff next week, man.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's gonna be in the building, more than likely. I can't make any guarantees, but we will be back on board and back having this show next Wednesday sometime around noon. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Glande, appreciate you,
Enjoyed it.
bro. Love the tech
Always.
talk always, bro. So we'll see y'all next week sometime around noon.